Good morning. Welcome to SAP Sapphire, broadcasting live from Orlando. My name is Adrian Morrissey. I am the Chief Revenue Officer at Cora Systems. Cora Systems are an SAP partner edge build partner who specifically focus on project and portfolio management. We're a strategic program execution layer for the SAP stack.
Awesome. Thanks, Adrian. And welcome, everybody. I'm Nate Joseph, Chief Revenue Officer at Twenty5, also an SAP partner focused predominantly in the pricing and estimating space, really focused in manufacturing and aerospace and defense. And what a conference it's been so far. What do you think some of the highlights are?
Amazing conference. So yesterday we had the pleasure of sitting in on Christian's keynote, and obviously the topic of discussion was AI. So the whole conversation moved from ERP, classic ERP, to autonomous enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
The conversation shifted a little bit from how organizations typically unlock data, and they talked about a connected enterprise and how they leverage the underlying data sets to ultimately benefit and optimize long term.
Mm-hmm.
So my takeaway from yesterday was very much around having a strategy that's aligned with the SAP vision as a partner in that community to ensure that not only the ERP data, but the partner data, which is where a lot of the context actually sits, is leveraged in a consistent, harmonized way in that integrated architecture. So if we get that right, yes, the vision of what I would see as an autonomous enterprise can exist. For now, in my mind, it's a concept, but I think that vision will be brought to life in the next 2 years.
No, I agree. This is by far the most exciting Sapphire that I think SAP's had. And I spent 4 years with SAP, was grown up on the intelligent enterprise, connected network, but I haven't heard the word ERP once at this entire conference. That's the biggest takeaway to me. SAP is all in on AI. Everything here is about AI. Joule, you look around. I mean, every single stand is talking about AI. It's not about a product, it's about a platform.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to give us the edge to be able to continue to work tightly with SAP. Is in the past, there's been these sort of segmented and fragmented systems of partner solutions that exist within the ecosystem. But now we can leverage AI and Joule to help us with world-class integration, ensure that the end-to-end architecture works and is tested properly and fits. And I think that is what is really exciting.
Yeah. Going back then a little bit to the impact, I guess, on the business user specific to aerospace. So just to remind people, Cora Systems, they specifically have a focus on what we would see as complex, large manufacturing verticals. So aerospace and defense, industrial manufacturing, and then life science and capital infrastructure projects within that. If we look at aerospace and defense as one example, we have order books that have never been as full. We have backlogs that are kind of becoming a badge of honor. This is the way we've always done it. Concept no longer flies, right? So AI is no longer a nice to have. It's a conversation that happens, but it's a board initiative now. So unlocking the ability in an organization to really harness the data that exists across that disconnected ecosystem and bringing that together in an integrated format will allow organizations to do ultimately what CEOs are mandating these orgs to do, which is double their revenues, right? Free cash flow, operating margin improvements. That will not happen in a disconnected world.
Right.
So unlocking that, doubling revenues, bidding on more, but without adding underlying costs to the business in terms of headcount. That for me is probably the impact and the takeaway around how organizations bid on more, execute faster, and ultimately increase that free cash flow.
Oh yeah, I mean, you heard yesterday during the keynote, they were talking about SAP's new idea. It used to be the intelligent enterprise. Now it's the autonomous enterprise. And they talk about autonomous project delivery in terms of how you can actually execute on time and on budget. And if you think about aerospace and defense, that's not really what they're known for. They're known for project cost overruns. They're known for delays. They're known for continual scope creep. And so from a pricing and estimating perspective, we believe that better insights up front and better insights into your data will allow you to bid more accurately, so you're not overrunning on projects, you're not missing material costs, you're not missing the things that we're typically seeing today. And I think that AI is going to give us that edge because we're going to be able to use it to look for patterns and trends that aren't necessarily easy to spot with the naked eye. So I think the world of projects and delivery is about to get flipped a bit on its head in a very good way. And I'm really excited to see what happens in these industries over the next 5 years.
I agree. I think the piece that you referenced there is key. I think the data exists. AI is one thing. You have data at an application level, but you have
Mm-hmm.
obviously AI then from a data perspective. But if you think about AI as the pattern recognition
Yep.
brain
Exactly.
of an organization that wants to get ahead of risks before they happen,
Mm-hmm.
that for me is the real holy grail of how
Totally.
organizations grow.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so let's flip it a little bit and look at, I suppose, the impact to how we as partners of SAP think about this move to an autonomous enterprise, the application of AI. What do we need to do to make sure we're front and center on that journey, and how can we benefit SAP and vice versa?
Yeah. So this is a topic that's near and dear to me, because when I was at SAP, I was running their industry cloud strategy for professional services. And so the mandate was take public cloud, take 25, a company called Replicon, a company called Profinder, and stitch them together as the fully integrated end-to-end value chain. And we struggled because it was 4 different UIs, it was 4 different applications, it was 4 different partners, 4 different products. Now with AI, we're able to build an application layer that can be synonymous across all 4 platforms. So you take 25, you take Cognitus, you take Cora, and you take SAP. And from an aerospace and defense perspective, we can give that company an end-to-end, fully integrated, robust system that leverages AI agents to be able to actually talk and extract data out of other systems. And I think that is what was missing in the past. We didn't have that agentic layer to help us create a seamless workflow for our clients. And that's what I'm most excited about. We're starting to build that. We're starting to put the foundation together around that, how we can deliver this end-to-end industry strategy. So everybody needs to stay tuned. There's going to be a lot of big announcements coming over the next few months. And I'm more than ever excited about our partnership with SAP and what it means for all of us.
Awesome. So I guess from our perspective then, we've invested heavily in Cora on the underlying data structures, obviously, when it comes to AI. So if we think about the contextual aspect of the data that we hold with SAP, the complementary aspect of what SAP hold from, compliance, revenue recognition, financial controls, and we actually turn that into strategy and decision making for SAP. For us, we can now pipe that into BDC from an AI perspective and ultimately bring that enterprise together in a truly connected manner. So same as you, that's what I'm most excited about. It's making sure that we're part of what we would see as best practice operating models within the verticals that we operate.
Well, what's unique about our partnership with Cora is that for the first time, we're able to give a company end-to-end visibility from the start of the project, or the start of planning a project, the bid, the capture, the win, the award, and then all the way through execution to be able to then come back later and look at our actuals and say, how did we do on that project? And not just from a financial picture and perspective, but from a resource management perspective, from an overall timeline and how well did we manage the overall project? Was there escalations? Was there change? And you can actually get that real insight, because right now, a lot of the times we still see a lot of reinventing of the wheel. No 2 projects are alike, right? Yet the large majority of projects are about 70 to 80% similar and about 20 to 30% of variance. So if we can help companies get a stronger grip around what's that 70 to 80% of confidence that we have, we can help them address the other 20 to 30%. I think there's so much buzz and so much energy around AI, but for the first time, we're actually seeing it come to life in a real way. And that's really exciting.
Great. One last point on that. I think the quantification, or the actual way to measure the value of an investment in a partner, historically has been a little bit haphazard. For me, the impact of 25, Cora, Cognitus collectively under the SAP umbrella is going to be something that we can quantify with precision going forward. And if you look at, again, the A&D sector, if you look at the revenue of an organization, 80 to 90 billion in revenue, a 0.1% needle turn on performance, financial performance, can give them back 87 million, 85 million in bottom line. So I think that's, for me, the exciting part, and the ability to future-proof, but I think quantify the impact of these investments through really tight AI measures.
Totally.
So last thing, just to finish up on this then, if you were giving advice to people who are the end users of 25's platform right now, what would be the one thing you would say, just with AI in mind?
I would say be patient. I think that a lot of companies expect to go from scattered, unstructured data in a lot of different data sources to a fully AI-powered, fully integrated end-to-end solution that can basically do the entire process for you. I think it's really important for customers, and I don't think this is just 25. I think this is anybody looking to implement AI within their business. You need to look at your foundation. You need to look at your underlying data structures. How's it structured? How's it managed? Is it clean? Because the worst thing that can happen is you feed AI terrible data and you get a terrible output, and you put that in front of your CFO and it doesn't go well. So to me, I would say be patient, recognize that this is a journey. This is really a 5-step progression. As we have a maturity model at 25 that we talk about, from going from completely offline and siloed to a fully integrated AI-powered end-to-end platform. But it takes time to get there. So yes, the expectations are high. Yes, everybody wants AI now and AI faster. But I would really encourage people to take a look at their underlying data structure and how it actually works, because you want to make sure you're feeding the right data into AI, not all of your data.
Perfect. For me, it's a similar story, right? I think everything that we talked about yesterday was probably predicting the future with a level of accuracy that people in the room agreed with, but I think the journey probably didn't get into a level of detail on how we get there. So step one, for organizations who are thinking about this, I agree. What does an architecture look like that will allow you to benefit most from the underlying data structures? If you think about SAP and their kind of, I suppose, the peripheral community of tool sets that can play into the verticals in which they operate, that for me is the fundamental building block for everything else that follows.
Totally.
Right? So I think patience is the key, but I think people being aligned on that vision and knowing that if you have 30 systems today, there's a world that exists where you have to think about having 5 in the future. And what are those core indispensable tech stack aspects that you want as part of your organization to give you the end goal that you need. So yeah, journey, I think architecture planning from the CIO level down, and then for a PMO leader, for me in our world, they are the heartbeat of the organization and are the difference between success and failure. So I would say speak louder about your demands and make sure that you're part of the conversation.
Yeah, that's good advice.
That's it.
Love it.
But that's it from Orlando. Thank you for joining us. We're having an awesome time. More to follow.
See you soon. Thanks, everyone.